So the next example we're going to show here in JAPE is the distribution of a universal over an AND. And so what we want to be able to deduce is from the premise that for all x, p of x holds, and for all x, q of x holds, it should be the case that for all x, p of x and q of x holds as well, right? And so the top level here, if I was to insert brackets, you would have in brackets for all x, p of x, and then and another set of brackets for all x, q of x. And so back from the propositional deduction, whenever you have a conjunction, one of the proof techniques that we always recommend is to split it up and get your premises sort of laid out as best possible. So we can separate these two with the conjunction elimination. We have our left side and our right side, and we now get to work with both of these. Now, a forward pass on the universal elimination, it requires a variable, so that's not quite the right approach for this problem. Instead, we want to take a look at the universal introduction in a backward step. And so what this is doing is saying that, you know, if you had some variable I and you're able to prove just from having that variable I that p of I and q of I holds, then if you're able to do that for an arbitrary I, then we can assume that for all x, you know, where x equals I, then the premise the consequent at the bottom holds as well. And so now we have our variable, our actual I here in step 4. And so from this, we can take the forward pass of universal elimination. We select line 2, for example, and line 4, and a universal elimination requires the variable, and it allows us to deduce q of I. And we do the same thing with line 3. We select the 2 and do forwards universal elimination, and we now get q of I as well. So we have both p of I and q of I, and the final step here is to do the conjunction introduction. And so we select the two premises, line 5 and line 6, and in forwards we want to introduce a conjunction between them, and then we just select the right order so that it matches line 7 in what it is that we're trying to prove. And so with that, it sort of closes off the entire proof. So again, the same strategies that we introduced in the very first part of this course, you know, get rid of all of the conjunctions that you possibly can before you start, they still apply when you're trying to prove things in predicate logic. And so keep following the same tips, and hopefully the proofs will keep coming.